Shannon and Skip. Shannon and Skip. Now, you guys had alerted me to what was going on with Shannon, or really Skip, and then Shannon's reaction to it. You gone? Peace. Have a good day. Um, you guys had alerted me to the tweets yesterday, and I guess I need to pull up the tweet again because I need a reference point. I need a reference point because apparently they had a little tiff live on air. Now I'm gonna give you my thoughts and I'm gonna save them for you, but I'm definitely gonna give you my thoughts. Let me tap into a couple of these super chats really quickly because I know y'all hold me down and I don't want to ever forego acknowledging the people that love me the most. Shout out to Voice of Reason. Voice of Reason with the 20 ball just came through, dropped the 20 ball and said, Anton, I'm gonna holla at you. Peace. Thank you, Voice of Reason. I appreciate you. Patrick Hill said, don't forget James Moore. What up, James Moore? What up, James Moore? My dog, Persevere Data TV, says, can't deal with her if that makeup look melted like like Neapolitan ice cream. We not doing it. We not doing it in 2023. We want them bad. We want the good girls as really bad girls. You know what I'm saying? That wasn't. I'm gonna leave that alone. Let me pull up this tweet from Shannon, from Skip Bayless real quick. One more time. Skip loved tweeting. Skip Bayless. He said, I don't even know if he deleted it. Man, he be tweeting his face off. All right, this is what he said before we get into the video. All right, this is what Skip Bayless said, and that Shannon Sharpe was so in a tiff about. He said, not exactly sure what happened to Damar Hamlin. I want y'all to hear for yourself, and y'all determine whether or not this was insensitive. I seen some people in the comments responding to his tweet talking about he should be fired and all of this. They're not firing Skip Bayless. The show is hotter than ever, and they absolutely positively beating the dog crap. I'm trying not to cuss anymore. Beating the dog crap out of ESPN to my liking. I want ESPN to get beat up. He says, not exactly sure what happened to Damar Hamlin. Players on both teams are shaken. Ambulance out on the field. CPR administered. Can't remember play being stopped for this length of time. Just said a prayer for him and his family. That was the first tweet. I don't see anything wrong with it. I think that, it was very, very much informing people of what was going on. Then he says, I've seen so many horrific injuries suffered on football fields, yet never have I seen a reaction like this. He's just identifying what it was that he's witnessed in his time as a person that has covered sports for decades. Let me say it again. He said, I've seen so many horrific injuries suffered on football fields, yet I have never seen a reaction like this. In every other situation I witnessed or covered, the game always went on fairly quickly. The attitude was, hey, that's football. For these players, this was, and then he put in capital words, different. He said, for these players, it's different. I still don't see the problem. Call me crazy, but I don't see the problem. All he did so far was identify the difference between how people see football and the players see football today versus how it was in yesteryear. In yesteryear, they didn't care. In yesteryear, it was just continuous normal. Doesn't matter how horrific it is. Doesn't matter if you get injured. Doesn't matter if you get absolutely pulverized. Don't matter if you're unconscious. It was a completely different scene, and this is the first time that he identified it, and all he said was, this is different than it was in yesteryear. I don't see it yet. Okay? Let me continue. He said, no doubt the NFL is considering postponing the rest of this game. But how? This late in the season, a game of this magnitude is crucial to the regular season outcome, which suddenly seems so irrelevant. He just stated a fact. He said, listen, this late in the season, I'm not sure how the NFL is going to be able to adjust to this thing. How are they going to be able to pivot? How are they going to not be able to continue with the game? And the regular season outcome, a game of this magnitude to the regular season outcome, which seems so irrelevant. He's saying that considering what it is that's happening on the field right now, I'm not sure how the NFL is going to handle this. And on top of that, the game is absolutely crucial to what the NFL is trying to do. Now, let's be clear. I know the young man is injured. I'm praying for his family. I sent the prayer up for him yesterday. I just seen the actual injury myself in real time for the first time yesterday because I like to react to things in real time on a live stream. Skip didn't say that he wanted it to happen or the NFL should do it. He's basically outlining what was going on the field as it was unfolding. He was tweeting in real time and saying, yo, I wonder how the NFL is going to handle this because A, B, C, and D. I'm reading it word for word right here on Skip Bayless's Twitter, right? Then he goes on to say, nothing is more important than that young man's health. This is the next tweet, the fourth one. That was the point of my last tweet. He's basically adding additional context. I'm sorry if that was misunderstood, but his health is all that matters. Again, everything else is irrelevant. I prayed for him and will continue to. So, now that I've read it in real time, and again, I tell Rita this all the time. I say, yo, I am not the biggest texter in the world. I tell Rita, I tell Q, I tell my daughter, I tell my mother, I tell my brothers, whatever, so on and so forth. I am not interested in texting, right? And the reason that I'm not interested in texting as much, unless it's just something that I can shoot off to you really quickly or I'm busy, I'm in a meeting, whatever, so on and so forth, is because you can't truly understand how I'm communicating it to you because you can't hear the nuance. You can't see how I'm saying it. You don't see the attitude behind it. Communication is 90% body language. Anybody, especially in 2023 and going forward, considering how extra sensitive that everybody is. Now, I am an equal accountability partner. I have no bearing on Skip Bayless. I don't care one way or another. I think that him and Shannon Sharpe is perfect for what it is that they do, and they are very entertaining to watch, but I don't have a dog in the fight, so I don't care about Skip Bayless one or the other. So it's easy for me to be objective when it comes to having this conversation. What did he say that was wrong? And it doesn't matter what the backlash is. It doesn't matter how people feel. The reality is that what did he say that was insensitive or wrong? He simply outlined the reality of what was being witnessed on the field considering the circumstances and then comparing it to what happened in yesteryear in football. If we just taking off the panties and actually putting our big boy pants on and stop being so overly emotional about everything, nothing that he said was actually wrong. Nothing, not one thing. Nothing that he said was actually wrong. Everything that he said was just simply identifying what was going on to the field. And then he said, yo, and I prayed for him. And I don't know for how y'all took that and misunderstood what I was saying, but nothing is more important than his health. Now, for me, that goes without saying. Obviously, the most important thing that happens is someone's health. But it's almost like you have to cover every single base as long as you have a platform that makes things visible. It's so easy for people to get easily upset and then overly emotional and then react to it, and it never fails. Somebody says, yo, we need to call for his job. Why is that the first thing that y'all come to? Y'all don't try to get the context. Y'all don't try to get additional understanding. You're not trying to understand it from a different point of view. You're not trying to see what really happened. You're not trying to wait and see how things play out and then make an adjustment or make an assessment. Then the first thing that you say is cancel, lose job. What if the first thing that anybody said for you, even though I don't believe that he said anything wrong, what if the first thing that you said that people didn't agree with, they say, cut off his income? This is why I can't stand cancel culture, is because You use an emotional, and this is why you can't be a CEO. You can't be nobody's boss. You don't even need to start a company. The only reason I would want you to start a company is to make sure that you worked it yourself. You just create another job for yourself because you have to remove the emotion out of it in order to make an informed decision. This is why you can't even get no peace in your home, because every time your girl says something to you, you act like a little emotional girl. And the first thing that you start doing is reacting emotionally. She sent you a little text, you sent him a little text, and then you ready to jump out the window and end the marriage because you just took it out of context and you really didn't understand the reason why or the intention behind it. I can't stand this whole little fairy dust culture because it is so weak. Let me get into the video and then I want y'all to evaluate exactly. Now, this was Shannon Sharpe's and Skip Bayless's interaction the next day with Shannon walking off the set. You too big to not be doing your job. Shannon walking off the set, then tweeting that, his parents would have been proud of him based off of what his brothers or his siblings are saying. And then them addressing the issue the very next day. Let's jump into the video, ladies and gentlemen.
There's been a lot of speculation of why I wasn't on air yesterday, and I won't get into speculation or conjecture, innuendo, but I will say this. In watching that game on Monday night, what happened to Damar Hamlin struck me a little different. As a brotherhood in the...
Now I'm going to have to stop and monologue this a little bit simply because I want to make sure that we can get this all and that this video stays up. Some platforms, even though you're reacting to a video, is going to require for me to cut out certain parts after the live stream is over. So I just want to give y'all a little bit of context that sometimes I stop after so long of what's being communicated in the video in order to illustrate certain points and to make sure that we can keep it up as long as possible so that some platforms is not requesting that I cut out some parts of the video. Yesterday when I was doing the Master P video, whoever it was that owned that interview, even though it was reaction, asked for me to cut out parts of it or just give them all of the compensation from the entire video. No, I'd rather not give you any compensation, and I would rather just cut out that part of the video. So that's why I do what I do. Some of y'all don't understand the context behind what it is that we do on this platform, but that's why I do what I do. So let's continue, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to read the super chat shortly. Thank you for subscribing to the platform. Make sure you tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Also, get Alpha Juice Company. The codes are in the description of the video for you to be able to order whatever it is that you need to order and be able to go to the website and do so. Let's continue.
NFL, when injuries happen, when we know injuries are a part of the game. I've seen guys suffer ACLs and Achilles tear. But I've never seen anybody have to be revived and fight for their life on the field. So it struck me a little differently because I remember seeing my brother paralyzed on the field temporarily.
So Shannon Sharpe is just breaking down, right? Objectively, without any emotion attached to it. The emotion was yesterday when he actually walked off the set. He's breaking down exactly how it is that he sees things based off of his experience, similar to what Skip Bayless tweeted. Skip Bayless said what he observed, and I don't think that he said anything wrong in his tweets. Shannon Sharpe is giving additional context based off of why he did what he did the day before. And he's basically saying, listen, I've seen a lot of things in my lifetime, including Achilles tears and near-death injuries and stuff like that. And he's breaking it down right now.
He was able to regain focus. Skip tweeted something, and although I disagree with the tweet, and hopefully Skip would take it down.
Now, this is where it gets dicey, okay? He said Skip tweeted something. And although I disagreed with the tweet, and he didn't say but, he didn't say if, he said and. He said I disagreed with it, and hopefully he takes it down. He said I disagreed with it, and hopefully he takes it down. Context matters. Words matter. We're not going to twist it up to make it to be something that it's not. Context matters. Words matter. He said, and I hope he takes it down. I disagree with it, and I hope he takes it down. He's entitled to his opinion. I'm cool with it. I don't think that Skip should take it down. Apparently, Skip didn't take it down because I just read it straight off of his timeline. And this is his opinion. He's entitled to his opinion. Let's continue.
But I didn't want it.
Well, time out. I'm not going to take it down.
Okay.
Skip jumps in, says, yo, hold on. I know this is your monologue, but just time out. And also, remember, this is not something that's new, right? This is not something that's an anomaly. Shannon Sharpe, Skip Bayless regularly jumps in to interrupt one another in order to make a point because it's a debate show and it's entertaining for the viewers to watch. What people don't understand about debate, because I hear people say this a lot of times, even when we on a Lapeef network, right? And we're doing a Lapeef Let's Talk show tonight on Thursday. Make sure y'all tap in. Anton is going to be cooking up like I always do. I have never missed a show since we started the channel. What people don't understand is that the reason why people tune into debates is not just so they can parse through the information and then learn something. They tune into debates because it's entertaining and they're arguing two different points about one specific subject. And so on this debate show on a regular basis on Undisputed with Skip and Shannon, and I see y'all super chats. I appreciate y'all. I am going to read them shortly. They regularly interrupt each other, so this is not something that is an anomaly or new. This is something that they regularly do. I'm going to say it again. When they do their monologues or they go on their rants, they regularly interject into each other, and then they laugh and they scream or they argue and they yell and they have their debates and they go back and forth and they say, hold on, let me finish, so on and so forth. So this is not something new, but Skip jumped in and said, hold on, time out. I just want to let you know that I ain't taking my tweet down. Let's continue.
Stand by what I tweeted.
Skip, let me finish.
All right, okay.
Go ahead.
No, you go.
Go ahead, let's go, Jen.
Okay.
I mean, I cannot even get through a monologue without you interrupting me.
Well,
now, the biggest man on the show, right? In which I think that it's cool for him to feel a certain type of way and then express whatever it is that he want to express as a result of Skip stopping him. This is normal. But it seems like he's extra emotional. And honestly, I'm going to just be honest with you. I'm not one to take a side. I'm just one to call it straight down the middle. Shannon Sharpe is acting like a diva, and he's trying to make this about him. I think that it is a phenomenal marketing tool. I think that he's gotten people on his side on social media, on Instagram and Twitter. But he's getting overly emotional, and I can't stand when people then say something like, you won't even let me finish my monologue, when the entire show for years has been based off of interrupting during a debate in order to make it more entertaining for the viewers. This is live on TV. Let's continue.
Came back, Skip.
Well, I thought,
Skip, just let.
I didn't know you were going to bring up
No,
this.
I was just going to say, Skip, I didn't want to yesterday to get into a situation where Damar Hamlin was the issue. We should have been talking about him and not get into your tweet.
Now, how is this any different than any other day when Shannon Sharpe brings up Skip Bayless's tweet, even when Skip Bayless is not specifically talking about the tweet? Now, I'm not saying that Shannon is wrong, because there is no wrong. I'm just saying that it seems to me that Shannon Sharpe is starting and trying to make this all about him. Let's continue.
That's what I was going to do. But you can't even let me finish my opening monologue without you interrupting.
Okay. I was under the impression you weren't going to bring this up because...
Skip is saying, listen, I understand what you're saying, but it was some conversations that was had behind the scenes before we even got on this platform today. I'm under the impression that you wasn't even going to bring this up. And then the first thing that you say during your monologue is, I'm bringing up Skip Bayless's tweet, and then I hope that he takes it down. You decided to break the rules. Don't start running in the Victim Olympics and acting a certain type of way right now. Listen, I'm just going to be real. I'm 100% agreeing with Skip Bayless. You said behind the scenes before we even came on this platform that you wasn't even going to bring that up. Now you want to have a conversation talking about how you need to let me finish, but you broke the rules in the first place before we even got on the platform by agreeing to do something that you're doing differently. And then don't get bent out of shape when I call it out now. See, now we got to take the gloves off and we're going to get deep down into this thing. Let's continue. I like this. I like what's going on right here. And I'm going to give you all my thoughts on what I really think is happening right after we go through it.
Nobody here had a problem with that tweet.
No. Clearly, the bosses wanted you to offer explanations. So clearly, somebody.
No, they
had a-
didn't.
Oh, you see that? Now Shannon is bringing up the bosses, man. Not the bosses. The bosses said a certain type of thing. See, they not doing Michelle Obama's strategy right now. You know, Michelle Obama said, when they go low, we go high. Skip Bayless said, you want to go low? I'm going to go lower. And then Shannon Sharpe said, well, if you want to go lower, I'm going to go even lower. So basically, it's just a battle of the egos right now because Shannon brought up something that they agreed wasn't going to be brought up behind the scenes because he felt a certain type of way and he was going to get his. And then Skip stopped him and said, hold on, fam. You said you wasn't even going to play that card when we was off camera. And then Shannon said, but wait a minute, but the boss has called you in the office and felt a certain type of way and was saying this in A, B, and C. I'm just saying, let's call it for what it is. In real time, we break this down frame by frame a little bit differently on this platform because there's additional context that needs to be had based off of what's being communicated.
Nobody.
Let's go, Jen.
Skip like, yo, what we talking about? What we talking about?
Thoughts and prayers remain with Damar Hamlin.
That's where the focus should have been, and not on the.
Oh, wait a minute, Shannon. You can't stop me, cut me off in the conversation in the middle of what it is that I was saying to reply to you and say, let's go, Jen. And then once Jen started talking, you want to start coming back and start revisiting the conversation. See, I don't really care about black and white when it comes to right or wrong. I'm going to call it straight down the middle. What I see being communicated right now is that Shannon is eager to get it off, make it about him, and then he just wants you to be quiet and then just let it be whatever it is going to be. I don't agree with that.
All game. Yes, let's go, Jen. Thank you.
As he continues his fight. All right, gentlemen, let's jump into our first topic.
And then they jumped into whatever it is that they was going to jump into, and that was that, right? So I'm curious as to what you guys think about this whole situation between Shannon and Skip. I know that, let me give you my thoughts. Let me tell you what's really happening. I think that there's some truth in what it is that they're trying to do as far as them authentically believing in what it is that they're saying. I don't think it's the whole truth because I think that it's still a form of entertainment. I think that when you start to jump on these debates and you start to get on national TV and you start to have these conversations, what you really are witnessing is great acting. Phenomenal acting. Now, are they passionate about Damar Hamlin and his health? I believe that they really did pray for him. I believe that they really do stand for him. I believe that they really do mean what they say when they saying it online. But what you see happening right now is the reason why Undisputed with Skip and Shannon is 10 times better than what it is that you see on ESPN with anything that got to do with any of those guys over there. This is the reason why the bosses don't really care. Let me tell you something. The boss's job is not even to be concerned about Damar Hamlin. The boss's job is to ensure that the producers is doing what they do in order to make sure that this dynamic is happening in real time so that me and you can be reacting to it, and then we can be tweeting about it, and then it boosts the ratings because they are putting on a good show. I'm looking at it from a business perspective. I'm not entirely looking at it from the emotional side of it. I got to look at it from all sides. We talked about the emotional side of what happened to my man yesterday. Prayers and thoughts go out to his family. But let's be clear. The ratings are high, and they are going to get an enormous amount of advertising dollars because they continue to give us this great entertainment. And I believe that it's all entertainment. I don't believe for 1 second that they don't have entertainment in mind. The bosses, the producers, Skip, Shannon, all of these reactions, it may be authentic, but I'm telling you, the producers is in the back saying, keep the cameras rolling. This is gold. That's how I see it. And maybe I'm just too much of a businessman to be able to look at it any other way. But for all of y'all that's getting over emotional about this, remember this. When contract negotiations come up, ratings like this is going to be the leverage that Shannon and Skip use in order to get a bigger bag. Let's be clear. Ratings on shows like this is the reason why Shannon and Skip is going to be able to go in there and use it as leverage in order to get a bigger bag. That's what I see. Y'all might see something completely different, but I look at everything from a business perspective, all right?